The big call dropping Andre Onana. His mistakes in midweek didn't help, but it is a big call at the end of the day. Is it the right decision, or has he been a liability long enough? And it's about time, really, Sharpe.
It's a difficult one because, you know, you generally don't change goalkeepers very often. He has made a few mistakes, and I think what Ruben Amorim's really good at is communication with his players. And I think he said there, he's sat him down, he's had a chat, he's gone through every situation that he feels needs addressing. And he said he just needs to disconnect from football for a few days, and then he'll be back in training tomorrow getting ready for Lyon midweek. So, big decision because he is the main goalkeeper, but probably one that's best for everyone.
And ultimately, the decision becomes right or wrong dependent upon the performance of Bayindir today, doesn't it? So if he plays well, if he's solid, United win the game.
But what about for the confidence of Andre Onana?
If he throws a couple in, I don't think you can worry about Onana at the moment. It's all about today in the game, isn't it? So, you know, if this youngish, inexperienced keeper throws a couple in, you know, it's a disastrous day, isn't it, for Manchester United?
But well, when confidence is shot at the moment, like it is at Manchester United, so they're not playing well. That's a fact, and things aren't right at the club. I think he's done the best thing for Onana. He's come under a lot of criticism. But the
messaging after the Lyon game, Ruben Amorim came out to say, "I have full confidence in my goalkeeper."
Well, listen, he's not a bad goalkeeper overnight. He hasn't been outstanding for Manchester United, and I think that's not just his fault. I think Manchester United have been poor. Defensively, they've been poor. But, you know, right now, Manchester United's focus is winning the Europa League. So I think what he's decided to do is leave him out, see what happens today with the keeper, how he performs, how the side performs, and then make the decision, because that's their only chance of playing in Europe, and they need to be in Europe.
Look, at the end of the day, the spotlight is always going to be on Manchester United because of the stature of the club, the popularity globally. Sometimes the reaction to what happens on the pitch isn't always sort of a fair reaction. Is there an overreaction to Onana's mistakes in midweek against Lyon? Because some people even go to the lengths of saying he's such a bad goalkeeper generally versus say he's had a bad game or he's had a bad season.
Well, he's not a bad goalkeeper, that's a fact, and that's been proven before. But I think with what's happened, I think with the press, with the spat with Matic, which was taken out of context, you know, they've took a snippet out of the interview, and then he's made the two mistakes.
But some of these mistakes are just...
People have come out now and jumping on the bandwagon. So the one thing he couldn't do before a big game against Lyon again is play him against Newcastle, which is going to be a difficult game for them, and he makes a mistake, then, you know, it becomes more of a problem for him.
There's two mistakes. The first one, yeah, you know, the keeper's half expecting maybe somebody to get a header on the ball, and that changes the flight of the ball. But the second one, he needs to have a soft body when it comes into him, but it's like it's hit a brick wall and just ricocheted back out into the middle of the goal. It's a unique position on the pitch, isn't it, a goalkeeper? Yeah. And if you're having a bad time, you're invariably conceding goals. There's nobody to bail you out in that position. But in my opinion, he has not been a good goalkeeper for Manchester United. That's the truth. He has not been a good goalkeeper for them.
It probably doesn't help that maybe to some level he's a little bit naive with the comments he made pre-match in regards to Manchester United versus Lyon, which then prompted Nemanja Matic to come out and say he's one of the worst goalkeepers that Manchester United has ever had. The numbers here will show you then, Sharpe, look, it's not fantastic, these numbers, in comparison to some of the names that we're seeing right there, but it's certainly not the worst per se, because there are some names below him. Does Matic have a point? Is he the worst goalkeeper that Man United have ever had?
It's difficult to say, because I think since Onana's been there, Manchester United have been in disarray. The defence have been all over the place. They've had a new manager come in and play a new formation. So it's difficult to say, but I just think consistently he's made silly errors and simple errors that you would expect a goalkeeper of that stature to be saving.
But if you look at their season, this season, they've won 10 games, they've drawn 8 games, they've lost 13 games, they'll finish with the lowest ever points tally that they can. They haven't won back-to-back games all season for Manchester United. You know,
that's not just the goalkeeper.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to come out and say, Sharpe. He hasn't, like Gary said, he's 100%. He hasn't been outstanding for Manchester United, but the stats are there. They're saying, you know, the lowest points tally, only won 10 games, not won back-to-back games. They've been poor defensively, but of course, when you're a goalkeeper, if you make a mistake, it's highlighted. I think what's happened, I think with the comments that were misconstrued with Matic, right, I think the manager's done the right thing by taking him out the firing line, because if he goes now and has an howler against Newcastle, right, he then can't play him in the Lyon game. So I think he's taken him out. Let's see what happens today. If the goalkeeper plays very, very well for Manchester United and they get a result today, then it's taken care of, isn't it? We've left you out, we've got the result, and the keeper's played well.